Each week, we will dive into the challenge faced by parents as they raise their children in the heart of America. We will discover the delicate dance of preserving rich cultural heritage while implement or embrace the value of modern society. So the goal is to help the parent build a stronger relationship with their children and fostering an environment of understanding, loving, and grow together. And of course, none of this could be possible without our co-host, Dr. Khanh Tran. And we would like to welcome Dr. Khanh Tran to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Looking forward to continue the journey.
How are you, Dr. Khanh Tran?
I'm doing very well. I'm busy, but very good busy.
That's good. That's good, busy. Well, today, as usual, we begin our talk show, our conversation with the tea, cup of tea. And today, beside the tea, today I serve jasmine green tea. I love jasmine. Just the smell of it, the fragrance, it's light, it's delicacy, and it's very girly that I love. But to accompany for the tea is the some snack, sweet treat. There's a Vietnamese sweet treat, homemade. We call that muk, which is the sweet treat that we make every Lunar New Year. It's a homemade. They have coconut, they have pineapple, sweet yam, a little bit of everything. So I would like to invite you, Dr. Tran, let's have some tea and some muk for New Year. And for you, do you celebrate Lunar New Year?
We do. My wife and I, although my wife is not Vietnamese, she's actually Brazilian. But during these moments, we practice being mindful, just to commemorate the New Year.
Yep. Tea. So, continue our conversation from last week, which is I found is very interesting when you mentioned about how to deal with children when they did something wrong and when they have a temper, they throw tantrum at you. And we also received some feedback from the viewer regarding to that tip. Because to them, when you have children who is emotional, who is throw tantrum at you, or who did thing wrong but not admitted that and show disrespectful, how do we teach the children to do the right thing and admit that their mistake and feel sorry and be able to correct themselves moving forward? What is the effective communication that Dr. Tran you can advise for the parent to solve the problem in that situation?
Now, when the child is acting out or having a tantrum, it does not mean that they are not remorseful. It's two very different phenomena, two very different experiences. We actually don't need or have to teach the child to be remorseful. They are naturally built to feel that way. When the child is having a tantrum, it is important to know that she's communicating or he's communicating with us. So we may perceive it as disrespectful, let's say if the child's screaming, yelling back at us. We have to be very careful in interpreting it that way when the child needs to express it in that way in order to get what she needs from us. And that is to listen.
How do you make sure that the child know that they did what they did is wrong and teach them a lesson?
Again, they know what they did is wrong, but in the moment, they're not doing wrong so that they can be wrong. When they are having a tantrum or when they're acting up or acting out, it just means that they're dysregulated, not disrespectful. So in the moment that happens, what we do is we embody the spirit of parenting, which means embodying the virtues that come with parenting. When we see the child act up, act out, it only makes sense that we are more loving, more caring, more nurturing, more understanding, more of the listening, and to be more reasonable, especially in a time when the child doesn't seem reasonable.
So Dr. Tran, if the children threw in stuff at you because they're so mad, what as parent, what do? We just smile and loving at that time? Or how do we hold our temper?
The love, that's a great question. The love and the affection and the tenderness is reflected in our response. So when a child's throwing something across the room, let's say, the child is trying to communicate to us that she is angry. Now, you look behind the veil of anger, it's typically fear. So we know that negative emotions like fear, envy, jealousy, prejudice is based on fear. So when you see a child throwing something across the room, you can turn over to the child and say, I noticed that you're upset at the moment. Can you help me understand what's going through your heart or your mind?
Then let they talk out what their problem is, why they upset.
That's the listening part. And that is often the missing component of most parenting. Although we listen, so we think we do, we're actually not hearing what the child's saying.
So, Dr. Tran, you mean we listen, we're hearing, but we're not really listen. What do you mean?
Yes. So listening is listening to the words. We will hear the words, but if you look behind the words, there are other meaning attached to that experience. Kind of like throwing something across the room out of anger. So we're focused on the throwing, which is the action itself. Mm-hmm. When we do that, we completely miss the picture. What we're missing is that the child is throwing because he or she is confused or scared. So when you focus on the behavior and you're treating the behavior, when it's an emotional problem, you are invalidating the child.
So in that case, what should we do? Should we show that we care, focus more on the emotion of the child than the action that they just did?
Yes. So the child, when they are expressing a tantrum and they're letting us know that they are upset, what do we do when we embody the spirit of parenting? We show more affection, we show more tenderness, we show more love. And in that moment, that is the one thing that will help alleviate that tension for the child. Now, punishing the child at a time when the child is already feeling bad makes them feel bad. So you recall, I said before, it doesn't make sense to us that in our attempt to try to help the child be good by making them feel bad through punishment.
So if this, let's say the kid, go back to this example that we have of the kid dropping the iPad, right? If it dropped the iPad, our family iPad or it's okay. But if it make the mistake the second time, and this time is someone else iPad, as a parent, what do we do so the children know that they did that wrong?
If they drop it a second, third, fifth, or 10th time, there's something we're not doing right. So each time it escalates means that they're really needing us to hear them more because we're just missing the point. So here's my point. When the child drops an iPad, it's a mistake. There are times they may break something that is intentional. Then it is an opportunity for us to look at that, understand why the behavior is happening. In this case, maybe the child doesn't feel heard. To get the child to stop breaking the iPad, start practicing listening. So I think we overemphasize behavior as good or bad, and then we get in trouble. And our response, our default response in parenting is to punish the child. But as I have mentioned before, the child has the capacity to reason. So why not sit down and be reasonable?
But then should parents also set limit and also not punishing, but maybe some discipline? Kids need to have rule and discipline so they don't break the rule. Will you recommend something like that?
Such rules like going to bed at 8, that makes sense. Now, discipline, you replace punishment with understanding, and the child will get more out of that. If you punish the child will learn to be aware. But it doesn't mean the child will be conscious. And that's essentially what you want from the child, because being conscious means being respectful, being considerate. They can be aware. So if you punish the child, let's say you take something, remove something from a child, like a video game, they learn that, maybe I won't do that again because I want my video game. But if you sit down with them and reason, communication that builds consciousness, but often follows this kind of understanding, is more understanding. It's more respect. It's more, because now you're communicating with the child on a human level. You're not reducing the child to just a simple behavior that you're fixing. We are four-dimensional: mind, heart, body, and spirit. You can't just try to fix the behavior and think that the child will become more conscious as a result. The idea is to get them to be more conscious. There's a difference between self-suppression through punishment versus self-regulation through consciousness. So the child may suppress from a bad behavior because they are afraid of you. But self-regulation is the child's internal capacity to control herself without your prompting.
So, Dr. Tran, what I see is that this is what most parents would do. When the kid did something wrong, they will take away their privilege, which is play video game or something that they really love. And the parents say, since you did that, you break the rule, you didn't follow, we take away that privilege for you. But what would be, now because we talk about discipline and all that, what would be the thing that parent would do different now? Because that's what we have been doing. Let's say that's what parents have been doing like that. In the past, how many years, then the children raised and used to that parenting style, meaning every time if I did something wrong, I break something, I didn't do well in school, I didn't listen to a parent, or I break the rule of the family, my punishment is they take away my device. I cannot play video game. I cannot be on my phone, chit chat with my friend, or I cannot, do something that I love to do. Take away the privilege of doing that. How could the parents suddenly change 180 so we could listen to your advice from your show today? Should there be a gradual change, or how the parent approach now that it's a change, maybe something different, and see how is that going to work better with their children because they already learned that behavior from their parent through all these years.
Right. Yes. The style of parenting that uses punishment, you're right, since the beginning of mankind, right, or womankind, and that's fine. However, we're also the type of animals that are capable of evolution. We're the type of animals that can establish greater meaning, especially in connection and communication. And the way that we relate to each other can be much more profound, much more deep when we engage reasonably. So we do that very early on by teaching children to communicate and collaborate. Punishment, taking computer games away from the child, is not communicating or teaching the child to communicate or to collaborate or to compromise. So what I'm saying is that the child punishment, by the way, is only as good as the relationship you have with the child. It is more effective if you're going to use it, that relationship between you and the child is precious, it's meaningful. But when you can communicate with the child without using punishment, and the child feels validated, there would be no reason why the child would contradict what you say, because the child will honor your feelings, your thoughts, because the relationship is bound by trust, by respect, by sensitivity, by kindness. And that's why I say it's better to talk to the child than remove a game from the child, or to take away things from the child, or to send them to time out. I prefer to use time in anyways, as opposed to time out. Time out is a kind of isolation. Human beings are not built for that. We're built to socialize.
So what is time in?
Time in, when the child does something, let's say, inappropriate or quote unquote commit bad behaviors, you have an opportunity, and so does the child has an opportunity to time in together and discuss the issue together, so that both one and the other understand where the other one and the other is coming from. So time in is very effective. And within the context of time in, you are collaborating. You are using reason. You are compromising through conversation, through engagement. This creates more of a meaningful relationship than the amount of time you send them to your room. And besides, punishment, what it will do, if anything, will create a whole lot of frustration. Because what they're seeing and perceiving as a negative response, they will perceive themselves as negative and their parent as negative.
Well, if that, then could you please give an example of how would you talk to the children when it's time in?
Let's say the child's frustrated, comes home from school and is angry, throws his or her backpack aside. I maybe notice that, and let's say it hits a vase, it falls and breaks the vase. I would pull her to the side. We may be inclined to sit on the chair, and I would ask her, what happened? What's going on? How is it that I can help you? What is it that I can do to help what's going on right here, right now. It appears to me that you may be upset. I'm not certain. Can you help me understand where you're coming from? Can you help me understand what you're feeling? Can you help me understand what you're thinking? Can you help me understand? There are so many things. There are a million things we can say to draw from the child what he or she is feeling. We just have to be patient and understanding in return.
Well, that's very good tip. Thank Dr. Tran. And I guess parents out there can start implement this. I don't think it's too late. Nothing is too late, right? Even though your children now at the teenager age, they still live in your family and they still want to be loving and caring from their parent. And I can use my own experience that my son, he loved play video game. Any minute that he not do homework or he not busy with school or karate or other activity, he play his video game. And sometimes, I ask him to do thing, he would take 3-4 times, and by the time number 4, I'm out of my patience. I cannot say nice and in a calm voice anymore, loving, caring. That time is just like yelling, right? It's just like whatever out in your lung, you should say it out loud. So hopefully he's here and he will respond. So I did what typical any parent does, which is took away his video game that he loved the most. And sometimes I hide them away that he couldn't find it. Sometimes when he's sleeping, as soon as he get up in the morning, his device is gone, his cell phone gone, his video thing that he loved to play disappear. And I acting like I know nothing. I don't know where's it go. Because in my mind, by hiding the device, put it away, he have no way to find where that is, and he will not hook up to this and not be addicted. I think kids play video game is addictive, and addictive is a bad problem because they will not focus in school, and they were addicted to something that they would not, like they lack social skill, even just socialize among the family member. But I actually make him even more upset. Instead of responsive and do things, now that he have no device, he just want to sleep. He get in the bed, cover the blanket, and sleep. Every time I come to his room, he's auto sleep. So that make me even more frustrating, right? So then we do have a class, which is it lasts for maybe a couple of days, and somehow that my husband found the device and my husband give it to him. Then things get back to the usual thing. It's on the device again, but not listen, but not, cooperative, do house chore. So I was upset. So one day I was walking in the room and wrapped the device, and as soon as I wrapped the device, he grabbed my hand, and this is like, really strong reaction. At that point, he looked at me with a really angry eyes, and he was like, "Stop taking the device from me." Just yelling like that. So at that point, I realized that my son is no longer a little child. He's no longer a little kid. He's 13 years old now. And I was upset too. So I give the device back, but I start, emotional. And I didn't see what he see. As a parent, he probably think that we don't love him, and like I don't love him, and I said like always like authority, like acting like a big boss, or like a mother and authority, and did not really communicate well with him. So I'm glad I have that conversation with Dr. Tran. But before doing that, I actually asked him that, well, if you don't like the way I am as, parenting, my parenting style, then tell me what your wish list, what you would like me to do to make a better mother for you. And in return, I want you to read my list as well, what my wish list for you to be a better son. So that's the assignment. I wrote my list and he wrote his list. But when I wrote my list, of course, I should tell him how much I love him. I have a picture of him as a baby until, he's now 13 years old. And I tell him no matter what, or even though he did all these things wrong and that, hurts me, but I still love him. He's the only child, the only son that I have. And these are the wish lists that I would like him to follow. So we exchanged. I gave my list to him and he gave his list to me. And one of on his list, the thing that stand out is don't take my device away, okay? Don't look at me with a disgust eyes. What else? There's a lot of those things. But then I'm like, oh, really? All these years, I didn't think that I look at him with that eyes that make him feel like that. So from that, we actually have a kind of better understanding. I stopped taking away his device. I'm more conscious every time I talk to him. I keep my voice, my tone low, and be more patient. And I see he more responsive. Like in the past, if I asked him 3 times to come out to the dinner table eat, now I just put on the teleprompter and say, Kai, Mina, food ready, come to the dining table. And he usually, respond faster. His grade at school improved. And I see, and one of the things that my wish list for him is to spend 15 to 30 minutes a day with either mom or dad. And so that we can talk about anything. We learn things together and bonding time. So, Dr. Tran, from what did you see? I mean, my real life experience as a parent and frustrating with my kid. What is your opinion about that?
I appreciate that you're receptive to this. I can't help but to think how much of the consciousness that you are displaying when you can be present to your son. You created quite a shift in your thinking, thereby creating a shift in his perspective. I have a list of 5 things maybe next time we can go over that I say that a child needs to know from the parent. And the first of which is, I am listening. They need to hear that from us. So when you ask him, what is it that I can do to make myself a better parent for you? It is so transformative to every child. You will see a great shift in evolution within that child's personality. It is one of the first questions I ask when I see a kid in therapy. I ask, what is it that I can do to assure that I can be here for you in these sessions? And I say that because I am essentially saying, I am listening.
Yes. And that is true. Sometimes they were talking to us, but then we were busy with other things, and we say, we listen, but then, maybe we not really listen, not really in present to what the children they need. And a lot of parents that the easy way, like I said, that the easy way is punish or tell the children that parents know best. Okay, we live up until this age, we go through a lot of mistakes. We make a lot of mistakes in our life, and we want to prevent those mistakes happen to you. Those are the behavior that we sometimes did not know that maybe we not have done a not that we didn't do a good job at parenting, but maybe what we think is best for our children, but it's not necessary that's what they want. So the children might want certain thing, and they wish that we would be able to do that so that they will cooperate better. But maybe miscommunication. We would think that what we do is we show that we love and we care by cooking good meal, take them go to places, buy them nice toys, nice device. But then still problem happen between the children and the parent. So that's why we need Dr. Tran here to help us, guide us to be a better parent so that we can have the beautiful relationship with our children when they still live in the same household with us.
I just want to reiterate one thing that you said. We may know more because of our life experience, but it doesn't mean we know best. In order to get there, we have to collaborate and engage with the child, because children, adolescents may know what's good for them too.
I want to follow up with that, Dr. Tran. For example, if the kid, let's say we should pick a simple thing. Kid go to the restaurant and they want to order the blue, soda with like blue color. And the parent would say, no. That's not good for you. That have a lot of color. Sugar intake is so high. Okay, get this version is better. And in a way, sometimes some parents not just recommend, but go ahead and order that because they know that will be good for their children. Would you, if you are a parent, what should we do when we see our children make the wrong choice? And we want them to guide them to make a better choice for themselves. What will be the right approach to do? Or should we allow our children make mistakes? That's how they learn?
In the case of something life-threatening, sure, we may be inclined to intervene, right? And then we give them maybe two different choices. But in the case of the blue soda, that's just one moment in time. Just a fleeting moment, nothing more than that. It's not as if the child is drinking that soda morning, afternoon, and dinner. It is what the child is intending and wants to do. Now, we have to be very careful. It's not as if we have, as adults, good habits, right? We have a lot to learn. We have a lot to do to assure that we're healthy. We have a lot to take into consideration that are flaws, imperfections that is within us. So there's a concept I use called acceptance of the imperfection. So in an instance like that, where the child is ordering a blue soda, it's okay. Because as I said, it is just one fleeting moment in time.
Well, thanks, Dr. Tran. So meaning in this case, you think that depend on the importance of the issue or the decision making. If it's something so spontaneous and not really like impact in the long run, then it's okay. But if something more serious and is important decision making, then perhaps the parent need to interfere. Well,
that is correct.
All right.
I'll give you, if I can give you just one more example.
Yeah.
I had a child come in and we have a bowl of candy at the waiting area. So when I came out to get the child grabbed a handful of candy, maybe 10, 12, 15 of them. And I said to the child, and here is an example of intervening. I said to the child, can you put those candy back, please? And she did. I said, I'll tell you what, you can have one piece of candy or you can have no piece of candy. Which would you prefer? And the child looked at me with a big smile and said, can I have one? I said, yes, you may. Because none is not an option. But the idea is the illusion of choice. So the child is choosing. At least the child gets one piece of candy, but it gives the child a sense of power or empowerment. So you can do it that way too.
Sure. Well, for the time being, that our talk show ending here, because we have more things to talk about as we continue each week. So next week, I guess we will dive deep more into some other problem that parents facing in raising their children. So before we ending our talk show today, is there anything or any tip or anything, Dr. Tran, you would like to say or to share?
I can't say this enough. I cannot repeat this enough, and I will repeat it over and over. Take the time to spend with your child. If you're going to remove, let's say, a video game from the child, you better replace it with yourself. And besides, in the end, when life matters most, the child will always pick you over the game, no matter how addicted. Because children, when I see them, half of them are adolescents. Just about 95% of them tell me that their parents are not good parents, but they tell me they love them anyway. You got something there that is a crutch, or rather, leverage, that allows you to maintain that connection with the child despite the addiction to the video game.
Thank you. So, in a way, our job at parenting is to love our kid unconditionally, and everything else will come after. Well, thank you, Dr. Tran, for your advice, and keep reminding us that the number one thing that we need to do as a parent is to love our children. And for that, I would like to end the talk show here. Thank you, Dr. Tran, for your knowledge sharing. And we would love to hear a real life story from our viewer. Any problem that you have with your children that you're currently facing and you need help, don't hesitate to make a call, make an appointment with Dr. Tran. The number 307-655-5510. Again, 307-655-5510 to make the appointment, and Dr. Tran will spend time to guide you so that you can fix the problem with your children. And thank you for watching. We're looking forward to seeing you on Asian Media Network every week on this parenting talk show.